Hey guys, this is Jim from Rawk U School of Music. That's www.rawku.com. We're going to do another one of these reaction videos. This time we're doing Alice in Chains, Love, Hate, Love, live at the Moore. Let's jump right in.
This next song is about pain. It's called Love, Hate, Love.
Okay, let's stop right there at 43. So what I noticed right away is, he introduced the song to us, which is great. You can tell this guy's a pro because he's very comfortable standing up there in front of however many people are there. There's no sign of, hesitancy or scared or anything like that. It's very comfortable, confident, which makes us as an audience get into the performance more. When you see a performer up there who looks nervous, you get nervous for them. So the fact that he's so confident and is like, okay, he's got this, no problem. So then we get the introduction, which is great. It's a nice minor sort of riff they got going on there. And he uses the introduction to just sort of stand there and let the music wash over him. And I don't know if he's actually preparing to sing, but he is in fact preparing himself for the performance by, getting into the vibe. The introduction always sets up the tempo, the key, the mood, the feeling. So he's using that to get himself into that place where he can give us a real good performance. He also started with a riff on like "Ooh," and he goes right through, and it starts with a nice sort of mixy tone, and then it goes into a falsetto and back into chest again. So he's showing us right in the very beginning that he's got all these different sounds he's drawing upon. And he's probably doing this unintentionally, it's just natural. But if you're listening to it from this point of view, he's doing some wonderful things. So this is a great start. Let's keep going.
I tried to love you. I thought I could. I tried to own you.
Let's stop right again at 105. He just started singing. It's he's just using a sort of a speaking tone. I noticed he's manipulating his larynx a little bit, but that's whatever. It sounds great. His vowels, this beginning part is a little low. So if you really listen to his vowels, you can hear him modifying the vowels a little bit. And I think, and again, I think this is all natural. I don't think someone told him to do this necessarily, obviously. But he's a very natural, good singer, and what he's doing is he's modifying when it goes low to keep the volume and the tone consistent with what he was doing before. It is a little low, you can tell. So it really manipulates that larynx and keeps it very forward to keep it consistent with what he's doing. So far so good. This is great. Let's continue on.
I thought I would. I wanna peel the skin from your face.
Stopping at 123. Just again, we heard that little modification on the word face. He did face instead of face. So again, that's just it's a very natural sound. You probably wouldn't even notice it unless someone pointed it out to you, but he is modifying some of those vowels, but it sounds very natural to us. There's nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly, it works obviously wonders in this song. And I just can't stop commenting on his tone and the intensity with which he sings. I mean, it's just, we'll talk about this at the end, but he wrote the lyrics to this song, so he doesn't have to pretend or act or anything. He's just doing it. So that's what draws me into the performance, is when I see somebody, stand up with confidence and then they can actually sing. And then not only that, they are singing, from here, which really grabs us as an audience. That's what it's all about, right? So let's continue on, see what's happening next.
For the real you, lazy ways.
And we're stopping here at 131. That just had 2 seconds. I wanted to say one other thing. At the end of his phrases, you hear him giving a little push. That's just sort of a diaphragmatic push at the end to, and I don't like to use the word push, but it's a sort of engagement of that to give a little accent. Again, this is all stuff he's doing naturally. I'm sure, none of this was planned. He just is singing it the way he's always sang it when he wrote the lyrics. And again, I think what's guiding him the whole time is the emotion. So he's not concerned with what the band behind him is doing. He's not concerned about remembering the lyrics. He's not concerned about hitting any notes. He's just in it, singing it. And that's really what it's about. So, I hesitate to comment too much on technical things because that's what this is not about technical things. This is not a school assignment, for someone as a vocal major in college. This is a guy out there living it. And I just think it's fantastic. So continue on. I'll try to not talk for a couple, seconds now. Stopping at 148, just because right before this you just heard 2 things. He had one lyric where it was very powerful and then the next where he talks about a sweet little angel, and he switches into a head voice mix. So again, these are things that he's not necessarily doing on purpose. It's just he's coloring it so much, and the song is love, hate, love. So already he's established one voice for this, the love, and I think another voice for the hate. So we have love, hate, love. And he's using 2 different sort of characters in the song. He's got this real edgy sort of guttural sound, and then he's got the lighter angel sound. So it's just, it's pretty genius, actually. So let's continue on. We got to stop there at 216. So his breath control is amazing. You just heard that phrase he sang without a breath. And I'm just going to say it again. Another aspect of this performance, which I really enjoy, is he's using his whole body to sing. He's making it look like he's working at it. And he is working at it. But he's using his whole body to get that breath. You hear him, sliding up to those notes, and it's just wonderful. So, again, let the lyrics and the emotion guide you in this type of music. That's all you need. Let's keep going. Again, we're stopping at 237 just to say, this is sort of a 3 voices going on in this song. We've got the love voice, the hate voice, and then this is what I would call the narrator. It's very low, and he's sort of telling us the story. And then when we get into the emotion, we have those 2 voices competing against each other. And again, just the amount of emotion and feeling he's putting into it is what makes the performance. And the minor riff too. I like the minor riff. It would be so easy Stopping at 247, just to say, another example of the modification because it's slow. The word is easy, and he said easy, which sounds weird when you say it like that. But if you sing it with his vocal mechanism, he's modifying it because it's a little low, and it makes it sound normal and consistent with the rest of the things he's saying. So that's just a little what valve modification can do for you. You should use it sparingly, I think. Most of the time, you should sing words that sound like the words you sing. But in this case, he's actually modifying because it's a little low in his voice, and it sounds completely natural. I have no problem with it. It's great. I mean, how can you say anything bad about this?
Trying to understand me, little girl, my twisted passion to be a woman, lost inside my
Stopping at 327, I just want to comment on, I like the fact that when we stopped before, he was starting low, and we talked about that valve modification, and then he takes the phrase and takes it up to here, and then takes it up to here where it's really hardcore. And so not only is he using the different voices as characters, or, you know, making the song more interesting by using those three, he's also using his range as those parts. So the top part up here is the really highly emotional, either love or hate part. The middle part is building up to that, and then when he's low in his voice, it's more of a narration, or getting some things across that we're going to expound upon when we go into the high voice and reiterate that. So I like that he's not only using his voice in different ways, he's using the different pitch levels, being low, medium, and high, also in a way that makes it very interesting. Just, you know, sounds great.
miles away before I kill. I still love you, but I still burn.
So stopping at 345, I just want you to notice that when he says the words "I still love you" and "I still burn," he absolutely stands still and doesn't do anything. So, as I was commenting before, I like the fact that he's in it. The whole body is in it. But then it's quite an effect when you stop doing that to really emphasize "I still love you." So that was noticeable to me. And again, I don't know that he's doing any of this planned out. Probably not, because he's a natural. But as we're analyzing these things, it's nice to know what is it, the things about the performance that makes it so good. And I think one of the things that most people would not even key upon is the fact that he just stood there and sang it and then got back into it again. So, another technique for those of you who are trying to get out there and sing rock music. This is great. Let's continue on. All right, we're stopping at 420. Just had a great guitar solo, and I hope that you noticed that the guitar is almost an extension of himself when he's playing the guitar. To me, it sounds like he's singing through the guitar, which is what a good guitarist does, right? And he's got the same character as the singer so it's just a very sort of symbiotic. The guitar solo is a natural extension of what came just before with the singing, which is pretty genius in itself. And also notice how the whole band is like in it. Again, it's something obvious when you point it out, but something you may not realize that's what makes it so good, is the fact that they're all in it. And now may be a good time to talk about the difference between like rock singing and like theater singing, or classical singing for that matter. I always tell my students, when you're singing rock, you need to feel it, emotion, right? Emotion is the big word with rock. With theater, that's acting, right? So in theater, you're taking on a role or situations that you personally have never been in, and you have to sort of imagine what it would be like, or, in order to be a good actor, you have to sort of personify that and pretend like it actually happened to you, right? So that's acting. And I don't mean like acting like a kid, like real good actors like Leo DiCaprio and things like that. That's what acting is. In the musical theater, we add songs to that. In rock music, however, I hate to say like rock music, but in like popular rock music, these guys wrote the song. They lived this song before they wrote it. The writing of the song was a reaction to the situation that happened, right? So there's no acting in this whatsoever. This guy is living it. That's what makes it so important. So remember that, guys out there, when you're singing these rock songs. I mean, you think about Taylor Swift. I used to not be a fan of Taylor. Whew, huge fan. Look at some of the stuff she wrote. It's all here. Adele. You name these singer-songwriters, right? Carole King, probably one of the most famous ones of all time, right? They lived the songs they wrote. So there's no acting involved. It's all natural, and that's why it appeals to us so much, because it's coming from the heart. And there's no sort of fakeness or pretending at all. So, with all these little vocal things we've been talking about, who cares? What it really comes down to is singing from the heart. And obviously these guys wrote the song and lived it, so it's very easy for them to sort of go right back into that. But as a singer and a musician, you guys too, we really appreciate seeing that honesty and how someone, made something out of nothing, right? This situation happened and, he made a song out of it, and that's a way, I guess, of coping if you want to get down into it, So it's just wonderful. I like to see the emotion, the commitment, and obviously the singing and the band. Alice in Chains, this is great, So let's continue on. I won't talk as much. Stop at 4:58. We just had a huge riff that he just did, and I think that when we think of riffs, vocal riffs, I think of like Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, some of the best riffers. Although they're just like vocal embellishments, a riff is kind of something different. But anyway, these vocal embellishments that he's doing, there needs to be a reason for them. Like if you're singing them, there needs to be a reason why you're embellishing this. So it's very obvious watching him that it's just sort of a visceral reaction. He doesn't have an instrument in his hand. All he's got is his voice, so he wants to do something, and there are no words at this point, so he's just doing whatever it happens to be, and it's just the extension of emotion. So that's the reason why he's doing it. It's an emotion, it's an embellishment, it's something to make it stand out even more. There are no words. So again, there always needs to be a reason when you're doing these embellishments or vocal riffs. You shouldn't just riff whenever you want. I mean, you can, but there should be a reason behind the riffing, which gives it that emotional quality. When you all go out there and listen to these riffs, and you're like, oh my God. Well, not only is it the riff, it's also because of the emotion behind it. There's a reason why they're riffing. Words just wouldn't handle it at this point. You got to just have raw emotion. And since I don't have an instrument to do that raw emotion with, it's going to come out of my voice. So that's my opinion on the riffs. And this guy is, it doesn't get more raw than this. This is it. I mean, he's living this on stage right now. It's just wonderful to see. Continuing on. Stopping at 5:28 again with his little vocal embellishments here. I mean, it's just all pure emotion. The song is love, hate, love, right? Love, hate, relationship. Those are two, what is it? The compositio plexitorum, two completely opposing things that are together, right? Love and hate, but it's happening at the same time. Love, hate, relationship. And I like how the music goes back and forth, like it's schizophrenic. It's the love, and then it's the hate, and then it's the love. And here we are towards the end, and it's sort of all getting combined together. I can't tell if he's hating or if he's loving. It kind of all is together, which is kind of the whole point, I guess. So anyway, I just think that's very interesting. Keep going.
Love, hate, love, yeah.
right, so at the very end, we get a lot of this riffing and the repeating of the love hate love thing. And I don't know if you noticed on the last part, maybe the last 2 minutes when he's doing his little embellishments, that there's a lot of sighing motions at the end. Ah! And the sighing motion is an ancient musical technique, to imitate the sound of a baby, ooh, calling for mama, mama. So he's using this sort of downward motion to, I guess, express, sort of a melancholy or a sadness. And then the last note he ends on is kind of a dissonance, right? And then he slides down into a note that makes sense in what everyone else is playing. And then you got this little tag at the end that's very sort of uncharacteristic of the rest of the song. So it kind of leaves you in a little place of, I don't know what is exactly going on. You've got a little question mark at the end. Instead of some songs where you have a definite, bam, I'm done. This one kind of like has a ... to be continued, which is very interesting. So again, I think the main thing from this performance is that, watching someone who's actually a natural at it, and then looking at all the things they do that make us as the audience interested and drawn into the performance. And with that being said, again, I don't think he's doing any of this consciously, because then it would be kind of contrived, right? So he's just doing this naturally, which is what makes it appealing. So I think that the more you study these performances and you look at the things that are consistent with all performances that are very good, you can kind of get an idea of how to build that into yourself. And I think the most important thing that I saw was at the beginning, how he let the music wash over him. He just stood there and sort of, I guess, let his memory get into the place where he was remembering why he wrote this song. And then he just got on that wave of emotion and read it all the way to the end of the song. So I had never seen this particular performance before. It blew me away. It's absolutely great. Look forward to doing more of these with you guys. Again, we're Rawk U School of Music, and that's RAWKU.com, Rawk U School of Music. Visit our page often. See you guys later.